Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's open forum. We have some very special guests here today. From Celebration Title, we have Jody, Morgan, and Erica. I want to thank you guys for coming in today. They're going to do a workshop for you. I'll let them introduce it and tell them a little bit about what we're going to learn here today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is Jody. I am the sales manager here at Celebration Title. And we have Erica and Morgan with us. They are amazing marketing gurus. So just wanted to introduce ourselves, and we're incredibly grateful to be on the call with you guys today. Just a little highlight about Celebration. If you're not familiar with us, you guys have probably seen us on social media, but we are the home of the confetti cannon closing. We really are different than your traditional title company. We love to really lean into our agents and be a true partner to you. So everything from marketing to support, education, lead generation, classes. We really love to learn about you, your business, what gets you up in the morning, what your why is, what drives you, and how we can really help you grow your business. So thank you so much for having us today. I'm going to put our information in the chat so you can follow us on social media. But we are going to do an amazing class today with our marketing girls, just teaching you all about how to go viral, right? We all want to be, you guys are realtors, you're therapists, you're viral superstars, you're marketing experts, you're doing all the things in the world right now. So again, we're just grateful to be here. We're excited to get to know each and every one of you and to support you in your business. So thank you for having us today. And without further ado, Erica, Morgan, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to share my screen, and this will be the hardest part of the whole day. Just kidding. Okay. All right. Give me just a second to. Okay, just give me 1 second to get this in present mode. All right, looks like we got through that part. So hi, we are the marketing girls. We like to refer to ourselves as the marketing girlies, and we are your chronically online friends. If you are not really familiar with social media, we do use a lot of terminology. We are on social media all the time. It's our job, I swear. And we just really pride ourselves in being very current. So our goal is, first, we're going to be really interactive, and we do things a little bit differently. We're not going to bore you. We would love to invite you guys to, the biggest thing about social media is putting yourself out there. So we would love anybody who wants to turn camera on. We want to be interactive. We want to see if you're connected with what we're saying. So if anybody will go camera on, just so we feel like we're not talking to ourselves, that would be awesome. If you have any questions while we're going through this, please feel free to unmute anytime, stop us. The biggest thing is that we want you to walk away from this feeling really confident in your social media strategy. So we're not going to sit here and just talk at you. We really want to have this be an interactive workshop. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why you should trust us, your favorite marketing girls. If you haven't followed us on social media, please do. So we run the Celebration Title Group account, and I know you're thinking, a title company on social media, that's probably really boring. It used to be, but we have found this great little way of taking current internet lingo mixed with a little bit of pop culture and just trying to stay really relevant and having content for a title company that goes semi-viral. And it's just been this little spot we've been able to live in the last couple of years. We take a lot of pride in our social media, and it is hard work to be on social media. So if you feel overwhelmed in social media, you're not alone. I also feel overwhelmed in social media all the time. It's normal. It's a lot of work. But what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of break it down in a way that makes it more manageable for you and obtainable. We don't want you to feel like this is a full-time job for you, but it is really important to your business that you are on social media and that people can look you up and see that you're a real agent. We say that Instagram is now like your resume. People are going to meet you online before they're going to meet you in person. And if you have a really good, strong presence and they can see your marketing tactics online first, by the time you get to that very first appointment where you're meeting a buyer, you're meeting a seller, you've already sold them. They feel like they know you already. And that's what's so great about social media, is that it lets people feel like they know you in a more personal way than we used to run business. So We're just giving you a couple highlight reel of a couple of the analytics that we've had on our recent posts. We have 8,000 views, over 6,000 views, over 500 views, and over 7,000 views. And that's just kind of showing you our resume of why you can trust us as experts. I know you're like, why are these 22-year-old girls teaching us? We're older than that. Just kidding. We're going to say a lot of jokes. That's why we need camera on, so we know if you are finding us funny or if you're like, okay.
And if not, we can see Jody and she laughs at all our jokes.
Yes.
No, that was good.
We appreciate it. Okay, so this is why you should trust us, why we know what we're doing, our resume. And now we're just going to dive into the fun part, which Morgan's going to take it away. She's going to debunk a little bit of what viral means. The biggest thing that you should know going into the new year of social media is that the landscape has changed so much, specifically from Gen Z. Us millennials, I'm an elder millennial, we went so far to the extreme of perfect everything. We made all of these like super curated feeds and everything was about being perfect and polished. And then Gen Z came on social media and they were like, we don't want to do that. We don't want photo shoots. We want authentic. We want to feel like we know you. We want to really see what you're about. And it's taking it from this big where you have to have 10 million followers and you have to be this big influencer to really taking it into these micro communities. And the biggest thing with social media is that they want you to build a community that's small scale and important to you. So I think the whole time that we go through this class, I want you to think in terms of you're not trying to be on social media so that you can be an influencer, because that does nothing for your business. You want to be a micro influencer in your area and have influence around your community of people who are actual buyers. You want to make money, right? We're trying to do social media as a part of our business. So we don't care if a million people like us, if it's all over the United States and they never want to relocate to Florida. What you do care about is people who do want to relocate to Florida, or people in your community who are moving, who are going to actually give you a chance to have a lead. So we're going to take it from thinking large scale to everybody to really fine tuning our own audience and who can actually become a lead for you. So without further ado, Morgan, take it away with debunking some of what viral means.
Sounds good. Thank you, Erica. So before we get into what viral content looks like and the types of content that you can make for your social media pages to hopefully go viral, we need to just cover some basics about virality, if that's a real word. I'm going to make it a real word.
I think it's a real word now.
Yeah, I think it's a real word. Yeah. There's some things that you might already have some preconceived notions about when you think of viral content. And it might mean to you that you need to make perfect content, that only perfect content goes viral. It might mean that you need to create all of your content from trending ideas going around on social media. And it might mean that you think you have to change your personality, but none of those things are true. We actually really want you to learn how to produce quality content. So we always talk about quality versus perfection. Those are really two different things. And when we talk about quality, we don't even really mean so much like you're having professional videos taken to make reels. It's the quality in your video of the information that you're sharing. Is it really good information that your audience finds valuable? We also, like I said, we don't want to make all of our content from trending content. It doesn't need to be trending to go viral. However, you do want to try to stay somewhat current with what is going on online. Like Erica said, we are chronically online and we like to be in the online moment because that's where everyone else is living. But for you personally, it might not fit for your personality or your schedule to be in the online moment. However, it does need to take some sort of priority to catch up or pick up on some of those trending topics and choose the ones that would fit your personality to hop on, for lack of a better term, and make your own and then post on your page. And then, like I said, you don't want to be fake. You don't want to be someone that you're not, because if you meet up with a potential client in real life and they've only seen what you've posted on social media and now they're meeting you in person and you're completely different, you don't want there to be any sort of discrepancy between the two. You want to be the same person online as you are in person so that people already feel like they know you. They aren't thrown off when they meet you and you're completely different than you are online. So you do want to try to be yourself as much as possible. So when we talk about the word viral, there is a definition, surprisingly. And what we found is that viral content is just content that spreads quickly and widely across the internet, gaining a lot of attention. I know before creating this class and before working in marketing myself, I probably would have given the definition of viral as something that had maybe over 1 million views, or something that had over 1,000 shares, or a certain amount of comments. But Erica is actually going to get into that in the next slide here in a few minutes about what viral for you means, because we have this basic definition of what viral is, but we're going to look more into what does viral for you specifically mean, because that's going to be really important when moving forward. And then I know there are probably some of you on here who are like, I'm not really a social media person. I could care less about going viral. Why should I even try to do this? Why should I even try to create viral content? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. There's several reasons why we encourage creating viral content. And it's not just, like Erica said, to make you some sort of influencer status, because we're not chasing after that anymore. There's actually a lot of deeper meaning behind wanting to go viral. And a couple of those are, there's increased exposure to who you are, your brand, what you care about in your business. So we have sales opportunities involved in that. High engagement is really good for your page. So if you have a viral piece of content, it drives more people to your page to see other things that maybe didn't go viral, but now they can get eyes on them and learn more about you and your business and who you are and what you do. It provides an opportunity to put out positive messaging and to also highlight your values. So other than just creating a video that got shared a ton of times and got 1 million views, going viral can be very important to who you are and your business.
Okay, so let's take it from the grand scape of viral and let's redefine it as viral for me. So what we want to do is we want to go through your analytics and we want to see what is your highest ranked video in the last 30, 60 days and how many have you had? And whatever the highest ranked, how many, the largest amount of views, the biggest engagement that you had, that's what your benchmark is going to be for what viral for you is. So for us, we saw that it was about 5,000 views. So if we get anything that goes over 5,000 views, we celebrate it and we say we went viral. If we get anything that goes under 5,000 views on CTG, it doesn't mean that it wasn't successful. It just means that it didn't necessarily go viral for what we term viral for us. So everybody can go back through. We're going to break down analytics and how to actually check those in a minute. And we get to that page, we want you to actually open up your phone real fast, look through your videos and really see what it is and make that benchmark so that you have a goal that you're setting. And then you're going to pay attention in the next 30 days to see what content you have that goes viral for you. And that's going to start to really build out that social media plan for you. So the biggest thing that you want to do is make sure that you're making share-worthy content. Some easy ways to do this is inspiration, motivational quotes, calls to arms that come together to support a cause. Relatable content does really well. If you follow like the Broke Agent, that's like one of the biggest accounts that comes to mind when I think of realtors online. They're so relatable, especially to anybody who's in real estate. They do a really good job of having that relatable content. Controversial, you have to be really careful with that. That is something that does well though, but let's be very, very mindful of that, especially in the next 2 months. And then trending topics and breaking news, especially if you can take one of these moments. Like I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to see who is chronically online and who isn't. Right now, what's trending is in the club. We are in the club. We all fam. Jody's the only one who knows. Okay. You know, you have these little moments where Emma, if you raise your hand, I don't know if that means that you know it or if you have a question. Okay.
By her age, I'll say she knows it.
She knows it. She is fam. Okay, we're really excited about that. We're going to post ours soon. And when something like that goes viral, where everybody's doing that same trend, it was like those water buckets where we threw it at people, and it was the transition. We did one. We drenched David, one of our reps, with water. It was like the coconut cutting. That one went so mega viral. Everybody was doing that exact same. Yes, Emma knows what we're talking about. Thank you for being in the fam. it was like every single account was doing the exact same video. If you can really capitalize on one of those moments, it will do really well for your exposure, but that's also not the point of what we're doing. So it's good to have some of those videos that go further, but we want to make sure that we're keeping it focused and centered on real estate and keeping it centered on what your actual business is. So on average, every single time that someone shares one of your videos, you get 500 more views. Same with carousel posts. So if you have stuff that people are sharing, a good thing for this would be when you break down what's going on in the Orlando market. And if people start sharing it to show their friends and family, then you're getting 400 more views for each time that somebody is sharing that content. So share-worthy content is really going to be where you want to live when it comes to going viral for you.
All right, so as Erica mentioned, there's a couple different ways that you can look at your analytics and your metrics on your personal page. So on the next slide, we'll have you guys open up your Instagram and we'll go through it with you step by step. But first of all, let's talk about what social media metrics can help you with when you are looking at these either on Facebook or on Instagram or any other platform. It can help you evaluate how your existing content is performing. So this is a really great thing to track, because if you see that one video is performing really well versus another one that you posted, let's say in the same week, it's maybe telling that you could try making more videos that are similar to the one that's performing very well. A lot of this is like doing your own social media science experiment. If you remember being in school and we had to do those science fair projects and things like that, we're just going to take this as conducting our own science experiment with our social media page.
This is your hypothesis. Your hypothesis is
our if-then statement. If you do these things, then you will see growth and engagement on your page. But analyzing social metrics can also help you identify which content types resonate most with your target audience. That's also very important to recognize. If you have some posts that you feel like you put a lot of time into, but it just isn't getting the traction or the engagement, it might mean, doesn't necessarily mean 100%, but it might mean that whatever the topic is in the post that you are sharing, it might mean that the content is just not hitting with your audience, and it may be time to switch it up a little bit and play around with what you're sharing. And it can also gauge whether or not your content marketing efforts are contributing to your overarching business goals. So some analytics that you should be paying attention to on your page is definitely engagement rate, reach, impressions, follower growth. So looking at how many people have you gained followers and how many people have you lost as well. Likes and comments, shares and saves, and then watch time. All of those things are very important to pay attention to. So if you want to now go onto your phone, yes, we are allowing you to be on your phone during this meeting. This is the only time in class you will be asked to be on your phone. And you open up your Instagram, specifically because that's what we're going to be walking you through today. You might see on your profile page, let's see if it'll, on your profile page, you might have this little button right here. This is professional dashboard. That's what we're looking for. If you don't have it, there's a couple different reasons why you might not have it. One of them being that you have not switched your Instagram account to a professional business or a professional creator, in which case you will need to do that. It's very simple. It's just a few steps. You can always look up online how to do it. Normally in in-person classes, we would walk you through step by step how to do it. But for sake of time today, I'll just encourage you to find that on your local Google friend who will walk you through how to turn on the professional dashboard. But if you do have it, you can go ahead and click on it, and you're going to find a lot of different scary looking buttons if you've never interacted with this page before. But don't worry, this is a great page to get familiar with and to become best friends with, honestly. So the first little tab that you're going to see there when you click on it is that accounts reached. Let's see if it'll focus. Right there, accounts reached. And if you just click on it, you can scroll through and see a lot of different metrics just on your accounts reached. And it'll tell you in the last 30 days, how many follower accounts your account reached and how many non-follower accounts your account reached. You can break down your account reach, or I'm sorry, you can break down your account reach by content type. So it'll tell you based on your stories that you shared, how many people saw it, based on your posts and your reels. And then it'll break down for you even your followers and non-followers. So this is just a really great page to get familiar with. If you go back, you can go to the second tab, which is called Accounts Engaged. And these are going to be the people that are like when we talk about engaging with your content, we're talking about audience members or followers that are liking and commenting, sharing, doing anything that engages with your content is accounts engaged. So it'll show you very similar information to accounts reached, but now it's looking at your specific engagement. So it's going to have different numbers there. And something that I think is really cool is that it breaks it down by top content. So if you press see all, you can see all of your posts that had engagement, and it'll give you a number on each of those posts. So all of these metrics are just a really great way to see what is doing well, what is not doing as well, and how could you recreate some of these things to continue to get good engagement. And
I'm going to add in a couple things.
Yeah.
So another thing that's great when we talk specifically about sharing reels is that now Instagram has copied YouTube when it comes to what they track on reels. And there's a thing called watch time. If you're not familiar, watch time just shows the accumulated time that people have spent watching the video.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that you can do to make sure that you are getting that full watch time, you want someone to watch your video the whole way through, but really what you want is someone to watch it 2 times or 1.5 times through. So it shows that they watched it all the way through and then they started watching it again. That is showing that people are interested in what you're posting, and it gets more, the higher your watch time is, the farther it's going to go out to the viral atmosphere. So when it comes to and when it comes to watch time, one great way to do this is we're going to take out having any kind of pause when you start your video. There's a thing it's called the millennial pause. And it's how I don't know why we all do this, but if you're a millennial, you might know what I'm talking about. Is before you start your sentence, you do this like, and then you say whatever you're going to say. And it's something that's very cringe of us millennials that we do. And now we just need to jump right into content. And we even don't want you to spend time in that first 3 seconds introducing yourself. So when you jump right into content and there's no clear, real end to the video, you've seen this before. You may not realize it. You've watched a video and then you start watching it again. You don't realize that you're already watching it again. And after a couple seconds, you're like, wait, the video started again. That's how people are getting that watch time to go further, because people aren't realizing when it ends. And watch time is such an important metric. It's very interesting because Instagram no longer cares about really how many likes. It used to be about likes. Now it's more about views and it's more about watch time. So they want to know who's actually interested in your content. And it's more about how many people are actually being engaged with your account versus how many followers you have. So I have one example here. Very proud of this. We posted a video yesterday. It was original content. It was a spoof of SNL Domingo. Does anybody know that skit? It was 2 weeks ago. Emma, again, my girly, you know the skit. We did our own as if Domingo came to Celebration and closed with us. Very topical. People are sharing that skit. It's kind of a little bit more, you have to know if you know, you know. But as of from yesterday to today, it has 2,000 plays, 40 likes, 13 comments, and 24 shares. And our watch time is 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 15 seconds on a 1-minute video, which means that people have spent 4 hours listening to us sing badly to this Domingo song. So just so you can see like a little picture of what that analytic looks like in real life, watch time is something you want to pay attention to. So each reel, you can go into view insights and it will show you your watch time. If your average is like 10 seconds, that means that people aren't interested in it. And if your watch time is like 20 minutes, it means that people aren't watching that. So pay attention to what people are actually watching the full way through and which ones are just people are not capturing people's attention.
Great.
Morgan, anything you want to add to this slide?
I was just going to go into the total followers tab just really quick because it has one of my absolute favorite features on the Instagram professional dashboard that so many people just don't even know about. So if you were on accounts engaged, you're just going to click that button underneath it that says total followers. And this is where you can track, how many followers have you gained, how many followers have you lost, and your calendar at the top left-hand side is going to automatically say from the last 30 days. But if you want to look at the previous month or the last 90 days, you can update that as well. And there's some cool analytics in here, but if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of your total followers little tab, it'll actually show you Monday through Sunday the most active times that your specific audience is on Instagram. So a lot of people think that I've been posting consistently every single day, and for whatever reason I'm still not getting the engagement and the growth and the interaction that I was hoping to see. And a lot of times I ask them, well, have you looked into what Instagram says is the best time for you to be posting each day? And it might change a little bit, but it's going to stay pretty consistent throughout the week. What hours are going to be the most active times for your followers? So some people on here are going to have maybe 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. as their most popular time for their audience, while others of us have an audience that are more active during the 3 to 6 p.m. Do we have a question from Ryan?
Hey guys, it's not really about this, but what I wanted to say was that everybody should follow your celebration one. I saw that video with you guys singing on Amanda's, I think, and it was absolutely terrible. And I have so many agents who we talk about social media creation and reels and video and stuff, and they don't like their faces and they don't like their voices. I hear that a lot. Everybody should see that one that you guys did. And it's not about that, it's not about quality singing or quality voices. It's about the content. It's about entertaining people or engaging people. And I would like for you guys to touch on that a little more, because I have so many people, and we talk about all kinds of different videos they can create and things. And yeah, you want to keep them relevant to that. But like closing with Domingo, that's not a real, hey, you should close with us, because that's just getting yourself out there. And people, when they think of closings, they think of celebration, because
Right.
That's what you guys are doing. It's not about, oh, I'm just like Domingo, so it's about getting your brand out there. And when people think of realtors, they think of you, and they could be sitting at a table with Domingo. They could be doing whatever, with anybody. And they need to realize that there's more to it than perfection. Like you guys talked about, you touched on earlier, your videos don't have to be perfect. You don't have to sound great. You don't have to look great. It's about being yourself, but also being just relevant to people. So I just wanted to make that point to people. First of all you agents, follow Celebration. They've got their name right there they're showing their profile right there. So follow them so you'll see these things, and follow these people individually, Jody, Erica, and Morgan as well. Sorry,
Yes, let me jump on that, because that is such a great point. So this is something that even just me, as someone who runs a social media account, I had to get really comfortable with. There was a point in time when we would look at a video, and if it wasn't absolutely perfect, we'd be like, nah, let's not post it. And now you have to get to a point where you just don't care. It's, first of all, I like to tell this to people is, when is the last time that like you saw your friend post some story and then like you called another friend to be like, wow, did you see what so-and-so posts? Like most people, they see your story and they just go quick, and they don't think, like, it's not like everybody's sitting there analyzing your social media. The point is that they're seeing you, and they're going to forget what the video was or maybe what you said. It's really more about just the exposure. So one great thing about being a realtor is that there's so many things you do every single day that you can just post in your story and take people along with your day. Like show them, hey, I'm doing this walkthrough real fast, or like, hey, I'm eating lunch in my car. Look at where I'm at today. Look at this. And if you do that consistently, people know what you do every single day, and they start to remember that you are a realtor. And you don't have to necessarily shout from the rooftop, this is what I do, because they can see it through the activities. And the second that you do the first post that like you don't look perfect, or you do a story where it's just like in the moment and maybe you stumble through a couple words and it's more relatable, you're going to notice that people will start to actually relate to it a little bit better. Nobody is interested in following like perfectly polished people all the time. And even like videos that we have put a lot of time and effort into, and we're like, oh, this one part, I wish we could go back. We're like, nope. My thing is post it and go. Like you put it out there and don't look at it. Don't look at it for like 3 hours. Don't check how it's doing. Don't check who's interacting with it. Just post it and forget it. Once you start to do that and you realize that it's okay to fail, it's okay for a post to totally bomb. We actually have a slide on this at the end that's like, don't be
afraid to flop.
Yeah. Like we flop all the time. Like there's things that we're like, this is going to be so funny. And like no one likes it. And it's just like us three liking it. And we're like, okay, high five to ourselves. We did it. The best advice you can have for social media is that your worst video is still better than that perfect video that never got posted. So if you're living in a world of perfection, you're never going to take off, and just, you have to rip that Band-Aid off. Everybody looks silly on the internet. It's just par for the course. So the sooner that you can get over that fear of doing something not 100%, the better. Like even if all your videos are just you talking to the camera and it's not scripted and it's just like walking through, it might not be perfect angles, like that's going to do better than if you just sit there and wait until you can afford a professional videographer and wait till the day that you can do this and this excuse and that excuse. Like you just have to go for it and own it. And we own it. Sometimes we're like, that was a flop. Okay. And we just kind of, roll with the day because everybody does it.
Yeah.
Even Taylor Swift flops everyone. Just kidding. She doesn't flop. But even someone else equally as good as Taylor flops every once in a while. But not Taylor. My girl never flops. I just want to say. All right. So this kind of builds off of that, which is building engagement. So unfortunately, there's not a social media one size fits all that we can be like, hey, if you do these 3 things, you're going to go viral and make $1 trillion. That's just not how social media works. Every single audience is different because it's based on who's following you, where they live, what they're interested in, what you post about. So the biggest thing we want to do is we want to get engaged. We want to build that engagement, and you want to relate to your audience, but you really want to hyper focus on your own audience and growing that community. So it's not enough to just post videos. It's not enough to just share stories. You have to actually interact and start building that rapport with the people who are following you. So the more that you interact with people, the higher importance that Instagram places on you. So if you talk to someone every single day, Instagram says, oh, this is someone who's important to them. They're a VIP. So whenever you post a piece of content, whenever you share a story, they're going to put you in the top. So if, let's say you're following 20 people, and of those 20 people, 10 people might be ready to buy in the next year. So let's say they just posted they're engaged and that they live in an apartment. So a lot of times newlyweds are looking for a house, or maybe they're pregnant, like those kind of things that you can pay attention to, that you can kind of cyber stalk. And you're like, okay, maybe these 10 people are who I really want to focus on. I think that they might be a lead eventually. Start interacting with them. And it doesn't have to be weird. You don't have to do anything hard. Like Stories has those buttons that pop up that you can just hit, like a heart, fire emoji. And if you start to interact with them, it starts to build that rapport back and forth, and they'll pay attention to you. People like to know that the relationship is reciprocated. And if you pay attention to them, they're going to start paying attention to you. So we're going to comment. We're going to like their posts. We're going to like their stories. We're going to create story content daily. I'm going to start you guys off slow, but really in my heart of hearts, I would like to say 15 stories a day. But if you're not already doing stories, that sounds very daunting. So we'll start off with 5. Post 5 stories a day. Don't let your story die. Ever, but the rule I give for myself is I don't let my story die from Monday to Friday. But then once Friday at 5 p.m. comes, I'm a different person. I go to weekend mode and I don't like social media anymore because I do it all week. So a lot of times I don't post on the weekends just because that's my time. So you can set up your own rules of when you're going to be online and when you're not going to be online. But don't let that story die, because that's a good way for people to be able to interact with you. It's easier, faster, quicker, cheaper than trying to you don't have to call them. You don't have to, you eventually will have to call them, but it's a good way to keep in contact with people without having to do very much work. Like you're just staying in touch with them periodically and you're keeping your name there and they're remembering you.
Yeah.
So the more you interact with your audience, the higher the content will rank in their algorithm, and the more that they can interact within your viral posts. And the thing about when you post a reel is that it goes further than just your audience. The very first push is to people who follow you. And then after that, it takes off on its own. And a lot of people who don't follow you will find you through that reel. So make sure you're interacting with people who are liking that reel, commenting on that reel, especially if they don't already follow you. And the people who don't follow you and see your content, if they interact with it, if they watch the whole thing, they're more likely to be shown your next video too, because Instagram or Facebook is showing that they like you. There's a lot of people that you'll realize, like creators, if you have any that you like really like their videos, you can go like a whole month without realizing that you never actually followed them, because once you watch that first one and then maybe you get served a second one and you liked it too, it's going to keep showing you that same creator. And that's why we care more about views and how many people are viewing in your watch time versus follow, because how many people are guilty of like, I don't know the last time I've actually hit the follow button. I assume I'm already following them because I'm seeing their content. And then I realize I didn't follow them. Sorry. That's a joke. I follow Morgan.
Oh, your mic cut out, so I didn't hear you. I didn't know you were saying sorry too.
I said sorry, Morgan, as if I wasn't following you. All right. Anything you want to add into building engagement?
I was just going to say, like, if 5 stories a day even still sounds too daunting for those of you that aren't quite on the social media train yet, just remember that you can share other people's content as a part of your 5 stories a day. So it's not like you need to come up with 5 things to share on your story. Maybe make at least 2 or 3 of them something that is original from you about your day, but you can always go on the explore page and share an inspirational quote, or if there's another company that has posted market updates, you can share that to your story, and that counts towards your 5 or your 10 or your 15. So it's not as daunting as it seems.
The other question that we get all the time is when it comes, especially for story, is like, well, I don't have anything to share. I'm boring. I share my story all the time, and I'm the first one to admit I'm very boring. I have a very consistent life. I have a very consistent routine. I've got kids. But I post like I am weird and I eat my breakfast at my desk every single day, but I make it at home. So I post that and I'm like, this is what travels well. This is what does it. And a lot of people relate to that because they're like, oh, I also want to eat healthy, but I also have to be somewhere at this time. And I've got kids to get out the door. Like, you start to really build that community even more the more that you post of just your everyday things. And I promise it's not as boring as you think it is, because other people in the same situation, like for me, a lot of my followers are moms because I've got 3 kids. I post about having 3 kids all the time. And they also are like, oh, how did you do this? Or what's this? Or I relate to this, or I relate to the drop-off nightmares. There's so many, like, we always think because we see so much glamour on social media that everybody has these fascinating lives. Most people are just normal people, and they're going to follow you and relate to you more when they see that behind the scenes, and it kind of breaks that mirror. Also, the more that you do that, the less you're going to care about what you look like, how you show up, and how perfect your video is, because you're just there already. So it just really, you got to just rip off that Band-Aid and not be afraid, and don't overthink it. The worst thing you do on social media is overthink.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to underthink it, actually.
So as you can probably tell by now through this class, going viral actually starts way before you ever make a piece of content that's going to go viral. It's that engagement. It's the looking at the analytics and doing that science experiment. It's engaging with other profiles before you ever even hit that viral for you status. So part of the viral trend, though, is trending content. And we touched on this a little bit earlier, and we talked about how obviously not all of your content needs to be trending, and you don't need to always live in the online moment if that's not you, or if it's not, fitting into your schedule. But staying relevant within trending content will do a world of wonders for your page. You don't even know it. So there's a couple different ways that you can use trending content. But first, let's talk about the types of things that end up turning into a trend. A couple pictures we have on here, obviously, is, of course, our Taylor and Travis Kelce. they've been trending, they're going to be trending. So anything surrounding them is great content. A couple years ago, we had Kourtney Kardashian at the concert saying, "Travis, I'm pregnant." Celebration actually did a spoof off of that. And we remade this picture and it said, "Travis, I'm trending," or "Travis, I'm closing at Celebration Title Group. Day in my life videos are so good and easy to make and have been trending for several years." Yes, Emma, that's a great piece of advice. That is very true. And then we also have a picture over here to the right, and this is from a story, but you have these add yours stickers, and those are super great to use to get people who are viewing your stories engaged with your account. But things like newsworthy events, TikTok challenges, memes, effects, and certain hashtags are all a part of content that can go trending. And the way that you can find it, if you're like, why, where do I even begin with finding trending content? A great way to be able to stay on top of it is, of course, following influencers, but not just any influencers. Maybe try to find influencers within your niche or within your business sector. Because if you're following an influencer who is a mom and she mostly does Amazon Prime, her trends are going to be completely different from what you're looking for as a realtor. So follow people that are influencers within your business. You can use AI to be able to find trending content. You can find them on Reddit chats. You can monitor hashtags. And then, of course, watching reels and watching a lot of them is one of our biggest pieces of advice when it comes to trending content. Reels are going to always be part of the biggest pieces of trending content on Instagram. It's hardly ever going to be a static post because people really like to engage with videos. They like to watch things and see things moving. So if you're on the Reels tab on your Instagram page, the way to identify something that's trending, whether it has trending audio, if it's a sound, if it's a song or something, down at the bottom of that video is going to be the scrolling audio, and it's going to have an arrow pointing up, and that's how you can identify those trending audios to be able to use on your video.
So the other cheat code to this is that the more that you do it and the more that you use trending audio is going to start targeting ones that are similar to that, or they're going to start to know like what you like and what you post about. So if you like intentionally start following accounts that have real estate content or trends that are real estate focused, and you use some of those audios, the next couple of weeks it's going to start pushing you the same stuff just because it starts to get to know you. The algorithm is a very scary thing and knows so much about you. So that's something that you can use to your advantage, especially, if you want to make it a little bit more relatable. Find the TV shows. There's so many audios from TV shows. So like, especially if you love The Office, if you love Kardashians, if you love Friends, all those audios are all over and they always go viral. So any kind of like, find a TV show that you like, you can use some skits from that too. And the biggest thing is just relating it back to real estate, and it just stay in the moment. As much as you can. I know you're really busy, so it's hard to like, thinking of being online all the time is probably very daunting, but the more you do it, the more easier it's going to get. All right.
So we talked about this a little bit earlier and we touched on it, but recreating content is a really great thing that you can do for your page, especially if you have a video that went viral. It looks like going back to that video and seeing what you did. Was it adding visual effects? Was it using a trending audio? Was it the caption? Did you add a hook on that first like 1 to 3 seconds in your video? And then try to recreate that. And once you have a few months worth of content to track the analytics on these types of posts, you will be able to have a better idea of what those videos are that did really well. And it'll help more of your posts perform at a higher level. So recreating content is a great way to make that original content with maybe some trending aspects to it, whether it's the audio or a certain hook that's going viral on the first 1 to 3 seconds of your video, and then putting that out on your page and watching what it does.
And once you kind of get that rhythm too, it makes it easier to build out months worth of content, because okay, I need to make something similar to this, or this is what's hitting. Whenever I use trending audio, that does very well. So just lean into that too, and use it as your mirror for this is what my content strategy is going to be. All right, so let's talk about one of our favorite things at CTG is original content. When we say original content, we mean we're not using a trending audio, we're using our own audio. We do a lot of script writing, we write a lot of parodies. So we like to spoof things. We like to just kind of be silly with it and kind of add our own brand to it. That's kind of how we've made this footprint on social media as it is that CTG like does it a little bit differently than most companies because we really lean into like we're confetti, we make it fun. So we were like, the social media can't be boring because we are this like celebration. So we lean into being silly and we lean into like trying to just, crack a little jokey on the internet and see what lands and what doesn't. So the very first thing I suggest is you really need to find your voice. So if you start doing more on stories and start sharing, especially like we talked about doing a day in the life. So if you're like a storyteller and you want to jump on there and talk about something specifically that happened, or start to figure out what people are starting to react to. So start with the stories, start posting, you can try a couple different things. And, if it's pictures or if it's videos or if you're a storyteller, and see what people start to gravitate to, what starts getting reactions. That's going to help you really find that voice of who you want, what you want to show and how you're going to show it. And then also find information that your audience wants to know. Really knowing who you're trying to reach on social is so important. Let's say that your biggest group is people who are retired and are going to downsize and they need to sell that home and they're going to go move into, let's say the Villages. You wouldn't want to be posting on TikTok because that demographic is historically not on TikTok. So knowing where your audience is and how you're going to meet them is really important when it comes to social. So if you are on TikTok, you're probably looking at first-time home buyers for the most part. And so what information do they want to know? And then if you're fine to like, if it is like your niche is first-time home buyers, what information do they want to know? Because you're not going to be able to make a video that has information for every single kind of buyer and have it hit. Because a luxury buyer who's buying, selling, moving, buying that $2 million home needs different information than a first-time home buyer who doesn't even know the first thing about buying a home, doesn't even know how to start the process. So really fine-tuning who am I trying to reach and name them. Like, okay, this video is for Tiffany. She's 25, she just got married. They're going to use, this for the down payment, the blah, 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 really, really fine tune it and then make content for Tiffany. And those people will gravitate to your video because you're giving them information they want to know. And don't be afraid to be bold. We call it infotainment, where we're giving information, but in an entertaining way. Some quick tips I have for creating videos that hit is don't stand still. So our attention span is only about 7 seconds. And so you don't want to have a static video. Static video would look like this. I'm going to slow down my pace and I'm not going to move. And I'm going to talk a little bit more monotone. And can you imagine if I came on this class and did this the whole time? Like how boring who already started to like, okay, I'm getting out of here if she's going to talk like that. Actually we need that movement and excitement. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but even just like hand movement every 3 to 7 seconds to redraw their attention in. We're not going to introduce ourselves. Why we're not going to do that is because we're meeting them on social. So they already have your handle. And if they want to know who you are, they'll go to your profile. And that's why having a clean profile that clearly states who you are, what you do, and how to contact you is going to be really important. That way we don't have to waste those 3 seconds of, hi, my name's Steve. We want to jump right into the content and grab their attention. And then last piece of advice is that a lot of people scroll on mute because like right now you're probably scrolling because you've been in this class for over an hour and you're ready to do something else or you're in a meeting. So having captions on the video where people can still pay attention and know what the video is saying, even if they're not listening with audio, is really important.
Yep.
And for real, don't be afraid to be bold. It's the internet. It's not that serious. It's the only time in life you're allowed to be unserious. Really like fine tune that voice and have fun with it. Like don't make this daunting thing. You don't have to be like, hi, this is information I'm giving you. You can find creative ways to do it and really just showcase your personality.
Okay, so we want to close out this class with giving you a couple ideas and some tips when it comes to social media and the content that you're creating. Fun fact, we just added this slide in today, so you are the first audience to ever receive these ideas and tips. So do with it what you will. But I know that this can feel like drinking from a water spout and might be overwhelmed with, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what's trending right now. I don't even know how to make a reel. Couple things, we have more classes on that, so you can always join us again for our Reels class or a Canva class or whatever it is that you need extra help in. But for now, let's talk about some things that we know are trending and we know are getting people's attention. So one thing that we touched on was carousel posts, and it's just a fancy word for saying there's multiple pictures and people can scroll. I believe you can add up to 20 now.
Yes. Yep.
20. You can add up to 20. I think for a while it was 10. So if you're able to go into your Canva and create some really great graphics for information that you want to share, it's better to break down, like, let's take something recent, like the NAR settlement. If there's like information that you want to put out on your social media to make people aware of, but it's kind of boring. Let's be honest. It's a lot of words. There's a lot of bullet points. You can actually break that down into now 20 different pages if you want to do that. And it just keeps people interested and it keeps them wanting to know what's on the next slide. It keeps them on your post longer. And it's just honestly more interesting to look at than if you were to post a one-page thing on your Instagram with all of the information about what happened in the NAR settlement or XYZ, whatever it is, you fill in the blank.
And also, say they go through the first 3 and they stop reading it, it will wait until the next time they're scrolling, and then it will serve them again, and then it will do the next. So say you have 20, that could be 5 different times that someone sees that same post, because it will keep showing them until they finish it. Have you ever noticed that? You go and you're like, I thought I already looked at that, but maybe you only looked at like 3 of the photos, and then you see it again, and you're like, oh, there's more. And then you see it again. It's because the carousel will keep popping up until it goes all the way through. So it's a great way for people to keep coming back to that same post and get more bang for your buck, because you're going to have more views on it the longer the carousel is.
Yep. So when we talk about Reels, there's a lot of things to keep in mind there. So we've added some tips for you. And if you want to take a picture of this screen, please feel free to do so, so that you have this information later on. But there's a couple things to keep in mind when you are working on making Reels. There's your 1 to 10 second Reels are going to be a sweet spot for things like hacks, tips, and tricks. And these are going to be the videos that keeps your audience interested. Like Erica mentioned earlier, we have the attention span of a goldfish. So a lot of our videos, if not most of our videos, we want to keep within that 1 to maybe 15-second range, because you'll see on most of your videos, if they're longer than that, at about 7 to 12 seconds, you lose your audience. And so the goal is to really keep them there for the whole video, if not being able to watch it multiple times. Your 10 to 30-second Reels are going to be for value-packed videos, and this is going to help gain retention in your audience. And then your 30 to 60-second Reels are going to be for full-length stories that allow you to gain deeper trust from your audience. So this is where you can go more into your expertise as a realtor, sharing vital information about the market and things like that. It's going to be more value-packed, have that quality versus just maybe more of the infotainment side or the quick tip or hack. And then a couple tips. We talked about obviously not needing to be perfect, but you do want to be aware of some things that just elevate your videos a little bit, and most of them are free. So utilizing natural light is key. You want to make sure that the lighting is not dark, that you can see your face clearly, and please, for the love of God, clean your lens before filming. Please just take 2 seconds to use the back of your t-shirt to wipe down your lens, because those things do make an impact. While we don't always want to see perfect quality content videos, professionally filmed on Instagram, we do want to see like some effort went into it, right? So having some good lighting is key. You don't need to have a ring light, but if you already have one, great, utilize that. Clean your lens. And then if you do have a tripod, use a tripod or go buy a tripod. They're very inexpensive, and it's just a great way to set your phone up and have a stable video taken of you. You can adjust the height. It really takes your videos to the next level without it even costing you too much. And then we also want to use hooks to grab your viewers' attention. So a hook, if you've seen it before on a reel, it's going to be big text in the first 3 seconds of the video, and it just really grabs your attention and you're like, what are they going to say next? So you can always look up what trending hooks are. You can ask AI to help you with trending hooks, and you can make it specific to real estate, or you can just start watching some reels and see what hooks really stand out to you as a viewer and how you can recreate them for your own page. When you're making reels, you also want to remember to add a visual element to your video, whether it's a little sticker, a little emoji, whether it's text, something that's moving and keeping people engaged. Like Erica said, every 3 to 7 seconds, having something on the screen that's moving. And then your caption also needs to reinforce the hook that you put on the beginning of the video. That way people see that in the first line of your caption and they can go and read it. And without even knowing it, your video is playing again in the background, and that increases your watch time that Erica mentioned earlier that we really do care about. And in turn makes the algorithm say, oh, this person is getting a lot of watch time on their videos. I might need to push their videos out to a different audience to see how it hits. And it therefore makes your video hopefully go viral and your audience grows. Cover photos don't matter anymore, really. It definitely does not affect your views. People like to do it for aesthetic purposes. It does make it look like you have a cleaner look on your page, but they really don't matter anymore according to recent research. So if that was something that you were really struggling with and you were really putting a lot of time and attention into, I have good news for you. You don't have to do that anymore, or at least you don't have to spend as much time on it. And then the last thing is be authentic, be consistent, and just get it done. Don't let perfection keep you from posting. That is our biggest and probably the #1 message that we want to get through to you in this entire class. And then I think this is our last slide, which Erica mentioned earlier, which is don't be afraid
to flop. It's okay. It's okay if you first start sharing stories. Nobody pays attention to it. It's okay if you post a video and you get 3 views. It's okay that no one liked that graphic. You just move on. Think about it for 3 seconds and then move on. And maybe you just switch up. Maybe you switch up a different font. Maybe you try something else. Ryan, do you want to?
Yeah, sorry, you guys. When hands go up, you guys stop. I love it.
We're ready. We're ready.
We're prepared.
This happens with me, and I just go on until I'm ready. Yeah, I want to go back to that. So the cover one you just did, the cover photos, and how we always like, and you touched on it earlier too when you talked about the video repeating. You don't want to start with. You said the 7 seconds of attention span that people have. So you don't want to start with, hi, I'm Ryan Langley, and this is my, right? You want to just start right into the subject. I remember when people had more cover photos on their reels, they had more of a, branding almost at the beginning of it. But what you're saying, and I agree with this just from my own behaviors, is to just get right into it, because people are only going to pay attention for a few seconds. And if you're not going there, they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's such a difference in, let's just say you start with, hi, today I'm going to tell you about, versus being like 5 things that will get someone to buy your house faster. I want to know the 5 things and I'm going to pay attention to it, versus I have to get through a whole introduction. And the other thing that got me was I watched a social media seminar, and it was like, most of the time you're talking to, if you're on Facebook, everybody knows you already. So imagine every single time you're like, hi America, hi America, hi America. They know that, you don't have to, you have a handle right there. That's why you have a profile. So that's also we don't need to And it also helps you if they do want to. They're like, wait, I want to know who that is. Is that person in my area? I want to work with them. That video was cool. Let me check that out. It gets them a reason to go to your profile. If you're not, we just don't, that first 3 seconds is the most important part of any kind of content, because that's what's going to either hook their attention or not. So you don't want to have dead space, and you don't want to introduce yourself. You want to just get right into it. And having those hooks of 5 ways, 10 ways, 7 ways, how to 30 seconds to da 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 da, all of that kind of stuff. Think of like the news and how they scare you into watching. And they're like, tune in tonight to find out why this could be killing you in your bathtub. And you're like, wait, what? Huh? What is that? It gets your attention. You want to know what it is. So think about that. Like, it's clickbait. It's, we're trying to grab people's attention.
Yeah, I do love that. I do love the find out what could kill you in your house in 3 hours. Details at 11. You're
Yeah,
like,
you're like, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, they're like, are your kids plotting against you? Find out later tonight. I'm like, I would love to know that. Like, tell me. So think about it. Think of it like as like a mini newscaster. You're just trying to grab attention. You're trying to do it quickly. Everybody's busy, and I can't scream enough. Put captions on your videos so that when people are scrolling in the middle of the day when they're not supposed to be, they can still follow along and see what your video says.
Yeah, it might seem redundant to if you have like you said earlier, top 5 tips that can get your home to sell faster. Obviously, include those top 5 things like within the video as some sort of visual element, but then do it again in the caption and add those 5 tips there. It's not redundant. It's not like, it doesn't look silly. Add it again because, like you said, somebody could be scrolling during their office meeting and they still want to know those top 5 tips, but they can't turn on the volume right now, so they're going to read the caption.
Right. And I do like those. And I like the countdown from 5 to 1. So you're waiting for the most important one last, which.
Yes.
But, and then you see a lot of, wait for the ending on those just for this watch time thing that, that people want so bad,
Yep.
hold on until the end and then nothing happens at the end. Yeah, you guys, this was the last one. Don't be afraid to flop. You guys, anybody have any questions for them?
There are no stupid questions, just so you know.
Yeah, we won't judge anything.
Nope.
No. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on. This was amazing. Yeah, David's a great presentation. I agree. It was awesome. Guys, get out there and start making your reels.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you so much. Any questions for them? They're going in 3, 2. I have to get a countdown. No questions. Oh, there's a raised hand. Yes, Lisa. Oh, just a thumbs up. All right. So thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Also, Emma, can you make sure you follow us, because we feel
Yes.
like we're already besties with you. So please make sure you follow us.
Yes, their details. They put their handles in the chat. Yes. All right, guys.
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, guys. FRI people, we're going to hang on there for any questions you have for me. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, FRI peeps. What do we have? What'd you guys think of that?
I think it was good.
Go ahead, Lisa. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead, Daryl.
It was good. It was good content. I thought, and I misread on the email, I thought they were a service doing this for us. But as I kind of thought of it, I was like, okay, I missed the first 5 minutes. Maybe it's not a service.
It's not. No, they're teaching you how to do it. That's just a title
Okay.
company.
Which, yeah, I do agree with a lot of it. I don't agree with putting 5 things on a day. That's just too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
I do probably 2, maybe 3, but it's usually 2 things a week.
Okay, so are you talking about posts or reel? They're talking about reels, the stories that just come.
I don't
and
do
go.
real. I don't do reels at all. I've never done that.
That's what they're talking about. They're talking about the stories, the videos that are at the top there that people look at, some people don't.
I have really good luck on my social. Really good luck. I keep up with everyone in the neighborhood. I keep it very, very niche, right in my neighborhood. No other neighborhoods. I don't keep anything general whatsoever. And I learned that with Downtown Daryl, because I had companies call me and they wanted to do all kinds of marketing for me, but it was they weren't even in Orlando. So they had no idea what to do here. And I said, I'm not looking for general. People would call me to advertise on Google and they telling me they couldn't find me on Google. I said, you're not doing the right kind of search.
Right.
So
Right.
you got to be very, very niche about it, and it works really well if you're doing it that way. I do events in my neighborhood. Actually, both of my listings right now are from my social media because they saw me in the neighborhood.
That is awesome. So those of you guys who don't know Daryl very well, or if you're newer here, Daryl is Mr. Williamsburg. He is.
I am now.
Focuses. He used to be downtown Daryl, then he moved to Williamsburg. So now he focuses on his. It's a big neighborhood. He focuses on his neighborhood, and it's awesome. And he does really well there. And that's a very geographical. Most of you guys aren't as geographically focused and narrow as Daryl is, but you're going to want to make a little bit more widespread shotgun approach than what Daryl does, which is very.
I think you need to be more focused than that. You need to go down to your neighborhood. You need to focus on your neighborhood that you live in.
Or your
no matter what the size. And if your neighborhood's too small, if you're not even in a neighborhood, do a radius out like maybe 1 mile, and do all the homes there and all the sellers and all the buyers for that neighborhood. You'll get other neighborhoods and other communities. And I was downtown Daryl, but I sold from frickin' Sanford, actually New Smyrna Beach, down to everywhere, Davenport, out to Mineola, out to UCF. So I wasn't directly downtown. I had buyers and sellers everywhere because they didn't stay downtown. They sold downtown, but then I had a buyer that wanted a big house up in Sanford. So you get your niches, but it goes all kinds of different ways.
Yeah. Awesome. What else did anybody think about that? Guys, I think the most important thing is get out there. When they talk about reels, whatever you guys are doing, if you're showing houses, just put some stuff on there. When you're talking about posts, if you guys look at my Instagram, I have 5 posts in my lifetime there, and it's all of my kid, I think. But my reels, I did some this week when I was on vacation. I did a few stories on Instagram and Facebook, and they're just personal stuff. I'm not trying to drum up business or anything. They're just me in a boat and me on a beach or something like that. But there are lots of things that you can do that are like they were talking about, just from your car driving. You're going out to see a new home, a new builder, new construction with a builder, and you're just showing the lots and showing the houses under construction and just reminding people that that's what you do. Because you guys miss business because they don't think of, when they think of Benjamin, they don't think of him as a realtor. And then they pick their friend across the street who they met at a dinner party. Or they go to Daryl's social media. They didn't even know Daryl, and they went to his social media or whatever, and they picked Daryl because they didn't remember that their best friend was a realtor, because they don't ever post about it, or they're not out there doing it all the time. So make it, even if you're not out there every day doing it, when you go out on weekends and you look at, let's say you have a 9 to 5, and some of you guys do, and some people are going to watch this on YouTube because they have 9 to 5s. They're going to get out there on the weekend and when you show houses on the weekends, take videos and put the videos up. They don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to have your face in them. If you don't have your makeup on and your hair done or whatever, they don't have to be perfect, and your voice doesn't have to be perfect. And sometimes you don't even have to talk. Use the captions and say, this is the new thing in Lake Nona. This is the new thing in Brandon. This is a new subdivision by D.R. Horton or whatever, right? And get on there and say it or write it or whatever you want to do, but get out there, get the message out there that that's what you do. Any other questions about FRI or anything else? But follow those ladies that were here. Follow people in real estate. Get on there and get active, at least following people and watching reels. I end up doing that more than I scroll down the posts. I watch more reels than I do the posts. And that's probably says something about my attention span, because reels are they're all easy to scroll down. But all right, any other questions before we go? Yes, Steve. Steve, you have a question? You might have your mute on. Let's go to Tammy and come back to Steve. Go ahead, Tammy.
This is probably a very dumb question, and it shows you how inept I am at social media. does Reels refer to the Facebook at the top of Facebook, or are they those little round things in Instagram, or do they go to both?
They're both. They're both. So there's stories and reels, but reels are videos.
Oh,
But the stories are Facebook stories, Instagram stories. Those
okay.
are
So
the
the
little ones
Reels
at
would
the
be
top.
on Instagram, and
Yep.
and stories are on Facebook.
I don't know. I think they're all reels are just short videos. I mean, it's not.
Okay.
I think it's all stories. It's the same. And they when you do one, they do both. They're both meta products.
Okay.
So when you do both,
Okay.
it typically does both when you do one.
Okay. That's what I kind of thought. Okay.
I think it's best to put it on Instagram, and then it
Yeah.
carries into Facebook.
Okay.
All right. Steve, can you talk now? You may have hit your hand. Oh, yeah, you are. Okay.
I got a listing. I just went active on here in Titusville. So I had the photographer, it was an extra $20. They created an Instagram reel for me. Easy, quick content ad. One of the people I follow down in Jupiter, Florida, her name is Erica Wolf. She's creates some amazing content. So if people want to follow her to get some ideas, she has wonderful online content creation that she does. Lots of videos.
And that's very impressive for the seller as well. And right now, guys, it's important to be impressive to your sellers because properties aren't exactly flying off the shelf, and they want to know what you're doing. 2 years ago, he said Erica Wolf. 2 years ago, property you couldn't keep you got 37 offers your first weekend, and nobody cared what you were doing to do all that. But now that when properties aren't selling, people want to know, what did you do? Why has my property been on the market 45 days? They all know somebody who sold their house in 2 weeks. So, it's what is Daryl doing to help me? So that's great, Steve. That's very good. And they all do that. All the, if you guys use Devore Design or do whatever, they'll do those for you. And they're very inexpensive and they look great. It's well worth $20 to get not only the reel out there so people actually see it. And you can copy that. You can post that as well, so it stays on your wall. And what better way to show that you sell awesome properties than to put that on your wall? So I think that's great. And it shows the seller that you're doing something above and beyond what other people are doing. Thanks, Steve. Daryl.
You know what today is?
What is today?
My 5-year anniversary of the FRI. I just looked at my calendar. Today, October 23rd.
Well, happy anniversary, Daryl.
Oh, I've got content to put on today.
There you go. Well, we love you. Thank you for joining us, and you've been awesome. And thanks to Diane for sending you over. Any other questions? Oh my gosh, look at all the celebration. Is that on everybody's screen or? Oh, there we go. All right. All right. Well, awesome, Daryl. Well, we love having you. Thank you. You've been awesome. Any other questions or comments before we go? All right, perfect. That's a good one to end on. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll see you next week. We'll have some awesome. Oh, BWO is coming back next week. You guys give us some. I'm going to be sending out, those of you who've done BWO, I'm going to be sending it out. They've asked for a survey. I'm going to be sending that out to you guys. Just a quick feedback survey. And then they're coming back in next week to follow up with us. So any questions and stuff you have, we'll have BWO back next week. If you did not see it the first time, you need to see it again. I understand there was a problem with the video posting it the first time. We're going to try to get to the bottom of that for those of you who couldn't watch it on YouTube. But we are very excited about that. And they've extended it to December 7th. So all for free. So get on there and do that when you come back next week or before you come back next week for those of you who have that link. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week. Happy anniversary, Daryl.
Thank you, Ryan.